Hey guys, Trevor here.
And Ash.
Today, just do the introduction.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, so today we are here to talk about the most popular or the most looked for visa in South Korea. It's the F-2-7 visa, and I am sure it is the most popular one. Don't say it's F5.
So the F-2-7 is a point-based residency visa.
Starting with the benefits, okay.
Yeah, let's start with the benefits. Number one is it's like a path to the permanent residency visa.
That's one.
As we mentioned. Number two is the business. You can actually start your own business in Korea, but you have restrictions.
We'll get to the restrictions, or should we talk to them?
Yeah, just tell them about the restrictions right now.
Okay, the restriction, it's a new rule actually. When you quit your job and you want to start your own business while you're holding your F-2-7 visa, that business has to be of the same category of the job you were working. To be specific, I can give an example. I graduated in electrical and electronics engineering. That was my bachelor's degree. Now my job is HVAC engineering, air conditioning, so it's mechanical engineering. Now I held an F-2-7 visa. I'm a holder of F-2-7 visa, right? I want to start my own business. I can't just start whatever business I want. It has to be something related to HVAC engineering.
Yeah.
Otherwise, when I go to renew my F-2-7 visa, they will deny it because I think my income's not going to be recognized, or the business I'm doing is not of the same category of my E7 visa.
So this is a new rule. So when we applied, we didn't have this rule, and you could just do any business you wanted, but they changed it.
We're the lucky ones.
The other benefit is work, because the F-2-7 is not tied to your work. For example, if you have an E7 visa, when you quit, you have to go and report, and you have to have another job.
And you have 2 weeks
one month, report. 2 weeks? 2 weeks to report, and then 1 month, I think, to find another job.
But the good thing about F-2-7 visa is you are not tied to your work.
Yeah.
Even if you quit your job, you can stay in Korea. And you can actually do alba, you can do part-time work, you can do whatever kind of work you want, and you can start your business, as we mentioned.
Last benefit is the period of stay, but there's a catch. So the period of stay is between 1 year to 5 years. So you need 80 points to get the F-2-7.
Out of 170, right?
Yeah, but if you're above 80 points, depending on how many points you're above 80 points, then they're going to give you like 1 year or 5 years or 3 years. 3 people who can apply for the F-2-7 visa. Number one is professionals and semi-professionals.
That's us.
People with like E visas and D5 to D9 visas. You also have international students, people with like D2, D10 visas.
Basically, academia people with master's degree, PhD, even bachelors, but they have
there's a catch. There's a catch with bachelors. We're going to go into that. And then number 3 is people who work at listed companies. So if your company is listed in COSDAQ or COSP, then you're allowed to apply for the visas. For professionals and semi-professional workers, the most basic is you have to have like 80 points. So people with E1, E7 to E7, D5 to D9 visas, you have exceptions, and you have to stay in Korea for 3 years consecutively. Why did we apply for the F-2-7 visa as professionals instead of applying it as students? Ashraf, just explain to them.
As I mentioned earlier, we are bachelor's graduates, and we cannot, even if we have an employment offer, we cannot jump to the F-2-7 visa right away. For bachelors, we have to go through the E7 visa first, and after that we go to the F-2-7 visa. For masters and PhD graduates, once they get a job offer, they can just apply directly to the F-2-7 visa.
If you don't want to wait for 3 years, you have to have an income of 40 million won or more. Then they drop these requirements of 3 years. Or if you have been invited by a government agency to work for a project, a science or engineering project, then you don't have to stay for 3 years. And lastly, as Ashraf mentioned, if you have a master's degree or above, then you don't have to stay in Korea for 3 consecutive years.
So back in our days, we were actually lucky because we just had to hold the E7 visa for 1 year only. 1 year, and after that we could apply directly for the F-2-7 visa. Now you have to have your E7 visa for 3 years.
For example, if you're a bachelor student, let's say you have a D2 visa and you have a job offer for an income which is more than 40 million won, are you eligible to apply for the F-2-7 visa?
Even in this case, you are not eligible to apply for the F-2-7 visa. In that case, you are only eligible to apply for the E-7 visa.
Yeah, you apply for the E-7 visa since your income is more than 40 million won, and I think after 1 year you can apply for the...
Yeah, you won't have to wait 2 more years. You will just have finished your first year only. You will be able to prove that you have an income of 40 millions or more.
The second category of people is international students. This is for people with master's degrees or higher, master's and PhD students. If you've been residing in Korea for more than 3 years consecutively, you have 80 points, you can apply for this visa. The last group of people are people who work in a listed company. Like if you work in a company which is listed in KOSDAQ or KOSPI, you work in certain positions, then you can apply for the visa, and you have to have a master's degree or higher and be residing in Korea for more than 3 years. So requirements are similar to the requirements of an international student. We've been talking about 80 points, 80 points, 80 points. So I want to show you guys what 80 points means.
We'll get to see the chart, the point chart.
This is the point chart for the visa.
There are like 4 categories for this point chart. First one is age,
education,
after
Korean
that,
ability,
Korean language ability,
annual income,
and
then you have like
extra points that you can get, and deductions. So these categories, you will sum these 5 and minus the last category, the points you will get in the last category, and you will see how much you will get out of 170.
Let's do like a point count for Trevor.
Let's see Trevor.
So 30 to 34, 23 points.
So you are between this range of 30 and 34. That's, you get 23 points out there.
Education, bachelor's of science, because I did engineering, 17 points.
That's 17
So you have Korean language ability, which is also tied. So like if you did your social integration program, KIP, then you have 20 points. I did that.
So you either do the KIP program or you have a valid TOPIK certificate.
Yeah.
And according to the level, they will allocate some points.
Yeah. I don't use TOPIK because my TOPIK certificate just expired.
KIP certificate, however, doesn't have an expiry date. Yeah. So you can just finish the KIP program and you have up to 20 points forever.
Income, let's skip the income.
So,
But so if you look at the income, there was like a drastic change. In the olden days, for example, if your income was more than 100 million won, you only had 10 points. But these days, if your income is more than 100 million won, you have 60 points. That's like a 50-point difference. Like the income just, they came with the income and just changed the game. It's like poor people, we don't want you in Korea. Let's say income 30 to 40 million won, and then Korean War, our country did not participate. 20 points, that's a lot. If your country was in the Korean War, like participated in Korean War. I did not receive any recommendation.
So here, these things are actually part of the additional points you can get, which is if your country participated in the Korean War, if you...
Invited by the government.
Invited by a government.
Agency to do like a project or something.
Right.
You get most extra points. For the social integration program, since I already have it here.
So, for example, you finished KIIP level 5, right? Yeah. You get 20 points for finishing the level 5, but also because you participated in that program, you get extra 10 points, right?
Complete.
Extra 10 points. So, if you finish the KIP program level 5, you get up to 30 points.
Those 10 points like make a big difference. And so if you studied in Korean university, you get more points.
So you have the education with your academic level, what you graduated, that's one thing. And also, if you graduated from a Korean university for masters, for PhD, for bachelor, you get additional points too.
I think you also get points for like 우수대학.
Yes, or if you are again if you graduated from a university, from the top 500 university in the QS ranking.
Yeah.
So you are eligible for this additional points.
Yeah, so I've never done any social service, and I've never done any penalty for immigration.
So penalties, actually, how they calculate penalties is the fine. Like, did you pay a fine of more than 300,000 won, then you deduct 1 point from the total points you get. did you do, and so on. So this is the deduction part. This the last part we mentioned.
Yeah, so let's count my points. 23 plus 17.
That's 40.
That's 40.
20, that's 60.
That's 90.
90 with the income.
100.
100, wow.
115.
100, 115.
Yeah, so I have like 115 points.
That's impressive. 100, at least, actually, one, because he didn't actually put, he just put a random income.
I normally recommend IMI Korea if you can't speak
English, Korean.
If you want, you can speak in Korea, just go to Hi Korea, and then you have 출입국 관련 법령 지침 정보. It's here. And then you go to 재료 자격별 안내 매뉴얼, and then you go to 재료험 자격별 안내 매뉴얼. So this document contains information of all the visas, and it's updated regularly. So this is like the Bible of visa application.
Exactly, the Bible of visa application.
Anyway, so if you guys have any other questions, just contact us, and peace.